You want your life to change, then you gotta stop waiting for somebody to come fix it. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to hand you the life you dream about. You want it. Then take radical ownership of every inch of your journey. That means you stop blaming your parents, your past, your trauma, your environment, your boss, your lack of support. It means you step up and say, if this is my life, then I'm responsible for where I go from here. You can't keep giving your power away and expect to be powerful. You can't keep saying, they did this to me, and think you're gonna rise above it. See, the moment you take full ownership is the moment you get your control back. Most people are stuck because they still think somebody else is responsible for their situation. They say things like, I would have been successful if my teacher hadn't doubted me, if my friends had supported me, if my family believed in me. Stop it. You don't need their permission to be great. You don't need validation to go after what's in your heart. You need you to show up. You need you to decide that your future matters more than your excuses. I get it. Life hit you, but you still breathing. You still got time on the clock. That means it's still your responsibility to do something with what you've been given. You don't need perfect conditions. You need a relentless mindset. That's what ownership is. It's not saying everything is your fault. It's saying everything is your responsibility. It's saying, even if I didn't start the fire, I'm the one who's gotta put it out. Radical ownership is where the shift happens. It's where you go from being a victim of your story to the author of a new one. It's where you stop waiting for motivation and start moving with discipline. It's where your breakthrough starts, because now you're not hoping, you're building. You're not wishing, you're working. It's easy to complain, it's easy to blame, but complaining never changed anything. Blaming never built a dream. Owning it, that changes everything. When you own your time, your habits, your effort, your discipline, you start seeing different results. People ask me, Eric, how do I turn my life around? You stop pointing the finger. You take the mirror and you say, this is on me. Every success story starts with that moment. The moment you stop running from responsibility and start chasing greatness with everything in you. You don't wait for someone to hand you success, because when you own it, you create it. Excuses are seductive. They make you feel comfortable in the middle of your struggle. They justify why you haven't made progress, why you're not where you want to be. But listen to me, excuses are the enemy. They don't protect you, they imprison you. Every time you tell yourself, I can't because, you're building a wall between you and your destiny. Excuses sound good when you're tired. They sound good when life's been unfair. They sound real nice when things don't go your way. But the truth is, excuses are lies your mind tells to keep you from doing the hard things that lead to growth. You don't need a reason to quit. You need a reason to fight. And excuses, they keep you soft. They keep you broke. They keep you average. You can't build greatness on a foundation of excuses. You gotta call yourself out. You gotta say, nah, I'm not letting that slide anymore. I'm better than that. You gotta hold yourself to a higher standard, not because somebody else told you to, but because you know what you're capable of. You were born with purpose. You were born with a gift. But that gift don't activate until you eliminate the excuses. Excuses keep you busy doing nothing. They give you motion without progress. You out here talking about what you could do if things were different. Stop that. Things ain't gonna be different until you are. The job ain't gonna change. The economy ain't gonna change. Your past ain't gonna magically disappear. But if you change, if you level up, if you make a decision to stop hiding behind reasons and start owning your reality, everything shifts. You gotta look at your dream and ask yourself, am I protecting my comfort or pursuing my calling? Because you can't do both. Excuses let you sleep in. Purpose makes you get up. Excuses let you skip the reps. Purpose says do it even when you don't feel like it. Excuses are rooted in fear. Purpose is rooted in fire, and when you stop letting excuses speak louder than your vision, that's when things start moving. That's when people notice something different in you. That's when you stop being average and start being unstoppable. You think successful people never had a reason to quit. They had every excuse in the book. But they decided to tear that book up and write a new story, one built on hunger, one built on discipline, one built on vision. That's what separates winners from watchers. That's what creates legacy. Excuses will always be there, but your time won't. So either you kill your excuses, or your excuses will kill your dream. Pain is part of the process. You don't get to escape it. You don't get to avoid it. But you do get to choose what you do with it. Most people run from pain. They use it as an excuse to stop, to shrink, to blame. But the truth is, pain isn't here to break you, it's here to teach you. It's the classroom where champions are built. When you shift your mindset and stop seeing pain as punishment and start seeing it as preparation, everything changes. Pain is your trainer. Pain is your mentor. Pain is your refiner. It strips away weakness. It exposes what needs work. It reveals how bad you really want it. You don't grow on the mountaintop, you grow in the valley. You grow in the early mornings when no one's watching. You grow in the moments when quitting is easy, but you keep going anyway. Pain says, let's see what you're made of. Pain says, you said you wanted it, prove it. Everybody talks big when life is easy. But who are you when life hits back? That's the version of you pain is trying to bring out. The focused you, the hungry you, the disciplined, unbreakable, unstoppable you. See, when you avoid pain, you also avoid progress. When you run from discomfort, you run from development. So instead of asking why the pain came, start asking what it came to teach. Maybe it came to teach you patience. Maybe it came to teach you persistence. Maybe it came to wake you up to the fact that you've been operating on autopilot, and now it's time to go to war for your future. Pain is not your enemy, comfort is. Comfort is what keeps you locked in old habits. Comfort is what keeps you saying, I'll do it tomorrow. But pain wakes you up. Pain tells you that something has to change. Pain reminds you that you're still alive, still in the game, still capable of rising higher. You gotta learn to channel that pain, not escape it. Use it as fuel. Use it as fire. Use it as the reminder that what you're going through has purpose. Every setback, every heartbreak, every failure, it's all part of the training. That struggle is shaping your strength. That rejection is building your resilience. That loss is preparing you for leadership. Most people tap out when it hurts. You've got to lean in. You've got to say, this pain will not be wasted. You've got to squeeze the lesson out of every tear, every bruise, every hard day. That's how you grow. That's how you evolve. That's how you become the version of yourself that doesn't fold under pressure, but performs through it. Some of you are still stuck because you're waiting on an apology that's never coming. You're holding your progress hostage, waiting on somebody to say, I'm sorry, for what they did, how they treated you, what they said, how they left. Let me be real with you. You don't need closure to get started. You need courage. You've been giving too much energy to your pain and not enough to your purpose. While you're replaying the betrayal, the disrespect, the disappointment over and over, life is passing you by. While you're holding on to what they did, you're missing what you're supposed to do. Stop waiting for somebody else to free you. Free yourself. Forgiveness is not about them. It's not about letting them off the hook. It's about releasing yourself from the chains of what they did so you can run toward what you're meant to become. You keep saying, I can't move on because of what happened. No. You haven't moved on because you've decided to stay where it's safe, where you can point to someone else and say, they owe me. But listen, your future doesn't care about your grudges. Your dream don't care about your drama. Your destiny is on the other side of that wall of resentment you keep building. Stop wasting your energy looking backward. Winners don't have time for revenge. They're too busy rising. They're too focused on results. You can't move like a champion while carrying the weight of bitterness. You can't climb to your next level with a heart full of hate. You've got to let it go, not for them, for you, so you can breathe again. So you can move again. So you can finally step into who you were born to be. Don't let what they did define you. Don't let how they hurt you be the final chapter. You're bigger than that. You're stronger than that. They may have caused the wound, but they don't get to control the healing. You take that power back. You say, yeah, it happened, but I'm still standing. Yeah, they broke me, but I'm rebuilding stronger. You shift your focus from revenge to results. From anger to action, from pain to power. That's how you win. That's how you flip the script. That's how you stop being a prisoner of the past and become the author of your future. Responsibility isn't a burden, it's a superpower. The moment you decide to stop blaming, stop complaining, and start owning everything in your life, you unlock a level of control most people never experience. Because most people are stuck on what they can't control. They waste time, energy, and emotion trying to change other people, waiting on better conditions, hoping the world gets easier. But high performers, real winners, they focus on what they can control. Their attitude, their effort, their discipline, their grind. That's how you shift from powerless to powerful, when you stop saying, it's their fault, and you start saying, it's my move. Everything changes. You've got to be so committed to your vision that nothing outside of you can derail it. Life throws storms, people let you down, doors close in your face, but when you take full responsibility, none of that becomes your excuse. It becomes fuel. It becomes the reason you go harder, not the reason you give up. That's the mindset that separates average from elite. Everybody wants control, but nobody wants responsibility. But here's the truth. You can't have control without claiming responsibility first. That means if your finances are a mess, own it. If your health is falling apart, own it. If your dreams are on pause, own that too. Not to beat yourself up, but to wake yourself up. Because once you own it, you can fix it. Once you own it, you can grow from it. You're no longer waiting for permission. You're no longer depending on motivation. You're leading your life on purpose. The world doesn't reward victims, it rewards victors. It rewards the ones who say, this is my life, and I'm taking command. You want results, then stop outsourcing your success. It's not your friend's job to believe in you. It's not your manager's job to see your potential. It's not your environment's job to push you, it's yours. Greatness doesn't happen by chance. It happens by choice. The choice to show up when it's hard. The choice to keep going when you don't feel like it. The choice to take ownership of every outcome and adjust your input until the result matches the vision. You can't keep blaming the system and expect to beat it. You beat it by outworking it, outlasting it, outclassing every excuse that tries to keep you where you are. That's what real power looks like. Responsibility is not a weight at your wings. It's what allows you to rise above the noise, above the struggle, above the limitations that people try to place on you. Every story has two versions, the one they wrote for you and the one you write for yourself. Some of you are still living in the story somebody else handed you. They told you weren't smart enough. They told you you'd never make it out. They labeled you broke, broken, lost, lazy, and you started to believe it. But let me tell you something. You are not your past, you are not your pain, and you are not the names they gave you. You've been walking around in a script that wasn't yours, a narrative rooted in blame and victimhood. But today is the day you grab that pen and start rewriting, because the story of your life isn't finished, and it sure ain't over. Victimhood may explain how the story started, but it doesn't get to decide how it ends. You've got to stop seeing yourself as what happened to you and start seeing yourself as what's about to happen through you. You can't change the chapter they wrote, but you can flip the page and write a new one with power, clarity, and purpose. You can't keep rereading the pain and expect peace. You can't keep quoting your trauma and expect triumph. You've got to switch the language, switch the energy, switch the mindset. Start saying, I'm not stuck, I'm learning. Start saying, I'm not broken, I'm building. That's how you reclaim your story. That's how you stop blaming and start becoming. You don't owe the past anything, but you owe the future everything. You owe the version of you that didn't quit, that held on, that cried quietly and still got up anyway. You owe that person a better ending, but that won't happen if you keep living in the mindset of blame. Blame gives away the pen. Accountability gives it back. You get to decide what this story becomes. You get to decide whether this chapter is your breakdown or your breakthrough. You get to decide whether this is where it ends or where it begins. Rewrite it with strength. Rewrite it with belief. Rewrite it with the kind of energy that says, I've been through hell, but I came out with purpose. No more excuses, no more victim vibes, no more waiting on somebody to fix what they broke. Because now, you're the author. Now, you're the creator. Now, you're building a legacy, not just surviving a life.